Bridgeway Studios, welcome into a brand new month, a brand new series here in our space on YouTube. I'm so happy that you guys decided to join us for today. Hey, if this is your first time, my name is Julian. I get to be our pastor here in Bridgeway Studios, and I'm pumped that you decided to join us today. It's a perfect day. Like I said, we're starting a brand new series. Our series today for this month of October is called Custom Creations. That's right, Custom Creations. And you, my friend, are a custom creation. There is only one of you. Guys, I'm telling you, this series is going to be absolutely awesome. I know I've said I've had a lot of favorite series over the past year, and trust me, I have pressed play. The one that we did in summer was one of my all-time favorites, and still is probably at the very top of my list. I don't think this one will beat it, but it'll be a close second. But press play was awesome. We talked about confidence and discovering, realizing who you are in Jesus Christ. It was absolutely amazing. I can talk about that one, and I may talk about that one before the year's over. But nonetheless, our brand new series called Custom Creations is all about realizing that there is only one of you, and that you were made in the image of God. And that's our big answer today. Can you guys say that with me? Say, you were made in the image of God. That's right. Let's say that one more time, except this time let's make it personal. Instead of saying you, I want you to say I. All right, so everybody say, I was made in God's image. There you go. We changed it up a little bit. So one more time. Everybody say, I was made in God's image. That's right. That's how I want you to say our big answer. It might look a little bit different for the time being, but either way, you were made in God's image. There is only one of you. And in today's Bible lesson, we're going to hear just a little bit more about that. We're going to be in the very first book of the Bible called Genesis. That's right. Here we're going to discover that God made us. He loved us and created us in such a way that we could shine and reflect out the goodness of who He is because of who we are. He made you on purpose. Bridgeway Studios, we have a memory verse that we're going to be going over. Our memory verse is found in Psalm chapter 139, verse 14. Take a look. This is what it says. How you made me is amazing and wonderful. I praise you for that. What you have done is wonderful. I know that very well. Psalm 139:14. Now, a lot of times we'll do these memory verses so that we can remember them because they really apply very well to our series and our Bible stories and lessons, and that is absolutely true for this month. But this Bible verse is an anthem, and I want you to say it out loud every day, once a day at least. Trust me, this Bible verse is so very important because it can take what others have said about you. Sometimes people say things about us that are hurtful and harmful, and this verse can remind us that God doesn't make bad things. God makes beautiful, wonderful things, especially us, His favorite creation. So let's say that verse one more time. Psalm 139, verse 14. I want you guys to say this out loud with me. Come on, let's say it out loud. Here we go. Ready? How you made me is amazing and wonderful. I praise you for that. What you have done is wonderful. I know that very well. Psalm 139:14. Bridgeway Studios, we're going to get into that in just a little bit, but let's prepare for our Bible story, and the way that we do that is by singing and dancing and praising God. So stand up out of your seats and let's get ready to worship God together.
Your love for me, your love for me. You are everybody, I'm Graham, and I've got to say I'm super excited about today because we are talking about one of my favorite things. Candy! Have you ever been to one of those candy stores that lets you put all of your favorite candies into one little bag? You can mix your jelly beans with gummy bears and top it all off with a handful of M&Ms. The M's stand for and it's all made only for you. Your one-of-a-kind candy bag. Everyone's different after all. Some of you may like hot candy. Or maybe sour's your way to go. I need some water, please. Or maybe you don't like candy at all. Now that's a good radish. We're all different, and that's not a bad thing. That's what individuality is all about. Individuality is discovering who you were meant to be so you can make a difference. We're all created to be individuals. That's why we all like different kinds of candy. Hey, what if we were created out of candy? Like, what if my head could be made out of jelly beans? And maybe some peppermints for eyes. Yeah. Laffy Taffy nose. Twizzler mouth. Twizzler? Twizzler? And of course, some hair. Looks just like me. Okay, maybe we weren't created out of candy, but we were created. And in today's story, we'll learn about our amazing creator. Sounds fun, right? What? I was hungry. See you soon.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verses 26 through 28.
In the beginning, God took nothing and made everything. From darkness, God called out light.
God poured out waters and stretched the sky far overhead like an unpainted canvas. He shaped dry land and canyons and great mountain ranges, and then decked them out with trees and vines and plants of every kind. God spun the moon and sun and stars and planets out into space, and then He filled the oceans with fish and the sky with birds. God thought up an amazing variety of animals to crawl and hop and race over the earth.
All of this was incredible, unbelievable, the most artistic show of power ever. God made complex atoms and cells smaller than the eye can see, all the way up to vast spaces stretching across the universe farther than we can imagine. And yet, all of this was just a warm-up to God's most spectacular creation, people. People. It's true. We're made of the same atoms and cells and elements as rocks and plants and animals. But unlike anything else in God's creation, we are made in God's image. Then God said,
"Let us make human beings so that they are like us. Let them rule over the fish in the seas and the birds in the sky. Let them rule over the livestock and all the wild animals. And let them rule over all the creatures that move along the ground."
So God created human beings in His own likeness. He created them to be like Himself. He created them as male and female.
You are made in God's image.
Now, that does not mean God shares your eye color or your freckles
or even your quirky smile.
But it does mean that you were designed for God to shine through you.
You were made to show the world God's love, God's grace and mercy, God's joy, God's peace, God's kindness, God's wisdom. You and every person you'll ever meet are of infinite value because you're made in the image of God. And here's what's even more amazing. God didn't design us to turn into a bunch of little robots who look and act the same when we follow Him.
Instead, the more time you spend with God, asking Him to transform your thoughts and words and choices, the more you become uniquely you. As you follow Jesus and reflect God's light more clearly, you'll be able to do the things that God has designed for you and no one else. So, next time you look in the mirror, remember, you're looking at the image of God, and no one in this world can reflect Him just the way you do.
Have you ever seen the wonder in the glimmer of first sight? As the eyes begin to open and the blindness meets the light. If you have so say, I see the world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in light, blessed in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. Have you ever seen the wonder in the year of second life? Having come out of the waters with your left behind. If you have so say, I see the world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in light, blessed in a living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I see the world in grace, I see the world in gospel, I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I'm walking in the wonder, the wonder in the wild, to the wilderness to wonder. Who I say, I see the world in love, I see the world in freedom, I see the Jesus way. You're the wonder in the wild. I see the world your way, and I'm not afraid to follow. I see the world your way, and I'm not ashamed to say so. I see the Jesus way, and I'm walking in the light. I see the world in light, I see the world in wonder, I see the world in life, bursting in living color. I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. Oh, I see the world in grace, I see the world in gospel, I see the world your way, and I'm walking in the light. I'm walking in the wonder, you're the wonder in the wild, to the wilderness to wonder. Oh, I see the world in love, I see the world in freedom,
When God created the world, he saved the best for last. People. He made us to be like him. He made us in his image. Maybe that means God looks like us. Or maybe it means God made us with different qualities that could only come from him. Maybe God made you creative, like he's creative. Ooh, or maybe you're really smart because a smart God made you that way. You could be patient, or kind, confident, or peaceful. And you could top it off with a handful of joyfulness. God is all of those things, and he's given them to each of us in all kinds of different combinations. So here's the one thing to remember today. You were made in God's image. Only you were made the way you are. You're one of a kind. There. I'm done with my new Candy self-portrait. What do you think? Not bad. I look delicious. I'll see you next time.
Wow, like how amazing is that? Like, I don't know about you, but when I think about it, like I was created in God's image. Like, I think about how big and amazing and strong and powerful. The Bible uses a word called sovereign, which means those things. How amazing is it that God created us in his image? Like, it's just mind-blowing to me. It's absolutely crazy to think about, but it's true. And the same is true for you. You are created in God's image. So remember that. Whenever there's a day that you don't feel special, you don't feel important, you're feeling sad, you don't know what's going on, and you're just starting to doubt yourself, remember that you were made in God's image. And that's our big answer. Can you guys repeat that with me? Say, you were made in God's image. One more time. Say, you were made in God's image. That's right. And we're not done yet. Now we're going to make it personal, all right? So we're going to say I was instead of you were. So let's say that. Ready? Say, I was made in God's image. One more time. Say, I was made in God's image. That's right. You were. You are. You are made in God's image. God doesn't make bad things. God makes special things, special people. This is who he created us to be, a reflection of who he is. And check this out. I want you guys, we're not done just yet. I want you guys to say our memory verse with me. Do you remember where it's at? It's in the book of Psalm, chapter 139, verse 14. That's right. Check it out. Let's say this together. Here we go on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. How you made me is amazing and wonderful. I praise you for that. What you have done is wonderful. I know that very well. Psalm 139:14. Kidsway Studios, please, please, please. This verse is so very important. Please do your best to memorize this verse. If you can, we'll have some downloadables for you on our website that you can download. Hang this verse up on your bathroom mirror, hang it up on your bedpost or by your bed on your nightstand. Take it with you to school. If you have locker, pin it up on your locker, keep it in your backpack, keep it at your desk, but do what you can to memorize this verse. God's grace can save us, and his word can save us as well. And I believe that about this verse, Psalm 139:14. Say this verse as often as you can, and make sure that you go to our website and check out our kids page, as we have some things on there called CTC, which stands for Continue the Conversation. And then we also have some things called AHA, which are at-home activities. There are some downloadable links on there that you guys can continue the conversation from today. You can do some activities that apply to today's lesson, and it's absolutely awesome. So make sure you go there and check it out. But until then, until next time, you guys be safe, be good. We can't wait to see you, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.